Yo, yo,
What it do? What it do?
we back with another one, man. This another vibe, another flow to the pod. You know what I'm saying? We had the females talk they talk, walk they walk. They really put on. So now we finna get a male's perspective on, are men really the problem? You know what I'm saying? So I got one of my first guests here. This is Blood. Blood don't make us no closer, man. Very high motivated guy. He does his thing. We finna get into his business a little bit. Finna ask him some questions. And we finna figure out, are men really the problem for real? Cause we wanna know, you know what I'm saying, for the people out there. And then he got a lot of like gems and things of that nature that he's willing to give us today. So without further ado, go ahead and introduce yourself real quick, man.
Yeah, man. So as y'all know, I'm Nate Cousin. My name is Udlien Theodore, 28 years old. I'm from Miami, Florida. Just to tell you a little bit more about myself. I'm an entrepreneur. I've been in the entrepreneur game since I got out of high school. I never thought high school was for me. So not high school, but I never thought college was for me. So I got into entrepreneur spirits. First started doing insurance and got into real estate, doing taxes. I've been in sales as well since I was 18 years old. So that's just a little bit about me. I've been doing this for a hot minute, so that's just my journey of life and looking for it to, expand a little bit more as well, different avenues that I have going on.
All right, man. Welcome to the podcast, man.
Yes, sir.
He's one of the supporters. He been watching from the bleachers, and we've been trying to set this up for a long time. It's been a very busy schedule between both of us, but now we here, man. I'm excited because he be telling me a lot of stuff, and I'm like, man, I can't wait to get you on the podcast so you can give those gems out to the people that's been, because we all go through life and we all try to figure out certain things, and it just hit us. And certain people like himself have been through those same things, but found ways to overcome them bumps, and lumps that we go through in life every day. So, tell us a little bit about your upbringing, your life in Miami, your life in Orlando, and then how you became who you are today.
Man, that's a great question. So as you would know, I'm 28 years old. I was born in Miami, Haitian parents, of course, immigrants, and it was a rough upbringing, dealing with Haitian parents and, first generation and struggling, a lot of, dead end jobs, to make ends meet. So I grew up in the struggle. However, I feel like that's what kind of took me to where I'm at today. Just seeing my parents struggle, seeing my dad do 3 jobs, hustling and bustling. When we got to Orlando, he was doing everything he can just to make sure there was no lights off. And, and I see my parents progress in life. By the time I was like maybe 20, my parents had like 3 homes, together. So I seen them grind it out and get to where they want to be. And again, they're, immigrant parents. So for me, that's kind of motivated me to be like, man, I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to be able to give some back to them one day, And that's honestly what I'm building for, is like right now I want to be able to, because of what we've been through, I want to be that stepping stone. It's kind of like a ladder, like, once their parents pass off the baton, you want to put at a better spot, for your kids. So that's honestly where I'm at today, man. My life that I've been through with the struggles in the past is what got me to where I'm at today as far as my entrepreneur spirit and wanted me to want more out of life as well.
Okay. That was a great answer. Very, very great. So, them struggling, them coming up, what was the things that you seen them do and grind out that you took from them throughout your journey?
Yeah, man. So my mom was a housekeeper growing up. So I seen her, she did 20 years that she currently don't work there anymore. But I seen her grind, for 20 years doing housekeeping, and that kind of like made me motivated on that. My dad was just a hustler, man. I mean, my dad used to cut hair. He used to cut grass. He used to, he did Uber before Uber was even a thing, like there wasn't even, he did Uber before, right? And he was a cook as well. So he put his hands in every pot, and that's what kind of like motivate me to be the hustler that I am today, because I see my dad do whatever it takes. But now I'm taking that same hustle and trying to formulate to becoming a CEO, right? Because all CEOs have hustle, but some hustlers never make it to that CEO part. And that's my goal now, is to take that hustle and formulate it to a system, to be able to build a blueprint where I can pass it down to my kids, and not just only hustle, but something I could build and pass it down for generations to come.
All right, that's great. I mean, let me give y'all a little story time. I'm gonna do it a little early because, you know, I wanna shake things up a little bit.
Yeah.
So, me and him, we cousins, but when you growing up as a Haitian child, you don't know how many cousins you got until you meet them on your own.
Right.
So, this is somebody that been keeping up with me since I was little. He watched me grow up from the bleachers. We didn't really know each other, and he finally hit me up one day. Was like, "I'm your cousin, man. Let's meet up. Let's talk about some business." And he was the first one to actually kind of make me really want to go into the entrepreneurship field just by, because some people say they're entrepreneur, but they can't really show you what entrepreneurship is like until you really see it for yourself. So he was one of those people that able to show me, not just tell me. And that's something that I could respect about him because a lot of people can talk the talk, but can they really walk the walk for real? And literally I seen him talking to people, the way he moved, the way he addressed certain things. So to piggyback off that, what is like the hardest part about entrepreneurship?
Um, I mean, the hardest part about entrepreneurship, honestly, is just not giving up. And I would say that's the hardest part. And then it's not common too. Like most people are not entrepreneurs, so most people would just go ahead and get a job, or go to school, get good grades, and get a job in their degree in their field. Like becoming an entrepreneur is not something that's common. When I got out of high school, I told my parents, I was like, yo, I don't want to go to high school. I don't want to go to college. I want to go be my entrepreneur. I want to build my own business. That's been my mindset since I got out. So that's hard and alone because you're taking a lot of risks, right? Where if you go get a degree, let's say you want to become a nurse, once you're done with your 4 years, you're gonna get a job. Where entrepreneurship, you could be an entrepreneur for 2 years and you could be dead broke. Like you can go 2, 3, 4, 5 years and you don't see a dollar, especially if you're doing the right way, you're not moving unethically, right? So that's the toughest part, is just having faith. But honestly, when you have faith and you believe in God, and you have a motivation, you have an ambition to grind, nothing's really hard. You just have to understand what you're faced with, and you just got to push through. But I would say the hardest part is just having faith and believing that you can become successful. I would say that's the hardest part, honestly.
So what was the biggest thing that happened? What's a pro that happened to you that made you feel like, yeah, this is something that I want to stick with, instead of going and saying, bump it, I'm gonna just give me a 9 to 5.
So like everyone else, like we all feel like we have a gift, and I always felt like I have a gift. Like I always felt like I had a gift where I can make it, and I believed in myself. I think that's one of my gifts. Is like I always believe like I can do whatever I put my mind into. So as far as for me, and one of the biggest things that happened, like when I first started my entrepreneurship, I was doing insurance. Like I was doing certain things where I seen people will get in, it'll take them months and years to do, where now I was doing it in a couple of months, or I was doing it in a couple of weeks. So I kind of realized like I had that it, right? Even though I'm not doing that anymore, but I felt like I had it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what it is, more like an intuition thing, but I just realized that, I had the capabilities of becoming successful. And that's what I'll say is one of my key factors, is I believe in myself. Like if anybody, I'm betting on me. That's how I feel at any time.
I like that. That's a good, because I feel like that with anything I do. I feel like I'm the best. I think that just runs in a Caribbean thing. I
Yeah.
feel like all Caribbeans feel like when they come to the United States or anything, they betting on themselves because they see what they could do, and they, just like you said, you seen people moving slow, so you can capitalize off that because a lot of
Right.
people ain't doing what you're doing.
Right.
So what was your why? What kept you motivated on keep pushing to the next level and elevating?
Um, I mean, my why, honestly, bro, is just me. Like I said, man, me growing up, seeing my parents struggle, and I was just one of the kids where you driving in the car, and my mom's, and I see a nice car, I'm like, man, I want that car, right? Like I want that type of lifestyle. I feel like at the end of the day, we're gonna die one day. What was the point of living and you only live the average? Why not have the nicest car? Why not have the nicest house? Why not have the nicest things for your kids and your family, right? So for me, what motivates me is being able to retire my mom, to be able to give myself the things that my parents never can give to me, and but in return be able to give it to them. And I feel like I'm that black sheep for my family. Like I feel like God put me here to be the savior for my family. So I'm gonna give it everything I got. to the last breath of my body, so I could be able to be that person for my family. Where my grandkids are like, damn, man, I'm thankful for my granddad because he gave it everything he got to give me the kind of lifestyle that I have now. So that's my motivation, man, to leave something for my kids, so one day they could look back and be like, dang, I'm thankful for my granddad.
All right. That's a bet. I like that.
Yeah.
You know? So what's like the hardest thing somebody's told you about your choices? Because, you know, there's always a part in your journey where there's people, negative people.
Yeah.
Because especially me, probably some of them going to be watching this. I don't care. Because, you know, this is my platform. I talk how I want to talk. I move how I want to move.
Right.
So, you know, I work at a job. I'm not going to say the jobs because I don't want to get sued.
Right.
But, I have a job, and I want to take that next step and just go full entrepreneur.
Right.
And don't want to work the clock no more. I want to work for myself.
Right.
And there's a lot of negative people out there that's like, oh, you can't do that, or you need a job in this life. You can't live without a job.
Right.
So what do you say to those people that have those negative thoughts and negative, you know, things to say about people who try to be in entrepreneurship?
That's a great so for me per se, like I said, is about believing in yourself. So one of my key things, I've always felt like I have the belief in myself. And it's funny you say that, because even when you become entrepreneurship, forget the people that are outside. What about the people inside, right? Like my mom used to be like, yo, you don't need to be an entrepreneur. You need to go, you need to go to school. You need to get a job. My mom used to tell me that I make triple what she makes now, and I take care of her. Right. So if I listened to her and went to go do what she told me to do, would I be where I am today? Probably not. And I'm not nowhere near where I want to be yet. But what I'm saying is sometimes people don't see your vision. Right. Like Jay-Z said, man, his uncle said he wouldn't sell a record. He sold a record 1,000,000 times. You know what I'm saying? So it's all about your belief in what you believe in yourself. Forget what other people, because people don't believe in themselves already. They already doubting themselves. They don't think they'll be able to make it to where they want to be. But if you believe it, that's all that matters. So for me, that's how I look at it. I don't care if I have $0 in the bank. I am the gift that's gonna take me to have the money that I need, no matter how my situation look. Because this too shall pass. So I never look at where I'm at, as damn I ain't where. It's not about where you at. It's about where you're going. So that's what I focus on. It's never about where I'm at. So even if today I'm driving in a Honda, I know tomorrow I'm being Rolls Royce. That's how I look at my life at all times.
That's a bet. I like Rolls Royces too. So if you ever decide to get one, just get me one too.
I got you.
Know what I'm saying? So what were some of the biggest L's? Well, we don't take L's as losses. We take them as lessons. So what's the biggest L you took throughout your journey?
Ooh. I would say the biggest L I took personally is when I was doing insurance. That was kind of like one of the cloudiest times of my life. And I kind of was bouncing around teams. So when you doing insurance, the way that I was doing insurance, kind of like in the network marketing, and I got in the wrong environment. I would say the wrong team, and it kind of I wouldn't say it set me back, but it put me in an environment working with the type of people that I never thought I would ever work with. However, in every disadvantage, there's always an advantage. So even though I was disadvantaged at that time, like I said, there's no L. So even though it was a situation where the person that I was working with looked me in my eye and said, I'll never get anywhere without them. And I'm probably today probably making more money than they are right now for the year, right? So that's what they told me. But again, I never truly, it made me lose faith for a little bit. Like it made me doubt myself, like, damn, like, can I really become successful without this dude? Like, am I really going to be who I want to be without him? But in reality, I would say that was one of the worst experiences, one of the worst L's that I've ever taken, is just working with that individual. But like I said, any disadvantage, you would turn that to an advantage, honestly.
That's crazy that somebody would say that, though.
Yeah, I know, right?
I don't know what I would have said. What did you say when he said that, though? Like, what was your thought?
My thought, it's funny because I was just having a conversation with somebody earlier. They're like, hey, man, so when you sign up for that company, it's something called an IBA. And when he said that to me, I looked him in his face and I said, bro, I signed an IBA, not a DBA. right? IBA is an independent business application. I didn't sign a dependent business application. If I was dependent on you, then I would have signed a DBA, but I didn't sign it. I signed an IBA. So I always believe, like I always say, one thing my dad always taught me is to believe in myself. And that's what I always believe in. I don't care how many odds I'm stacked against. I don't care how things looking. I believe in me. So when he said that to me, I'm looking at him like, you lying. And to this day, he is lying. And I'm always become successful because he's not the reason why I'm become successful. God is. So I'm going to give my glory to God because he's the one that's going to want to see me successful. No human can stop whatever God has for you. And that's how I believe it, 100%.
I like that.
Yeah.
Because I probably would have slapped. I ain't gonna lie. I probably would have been like, bro, I'm out of here, bro.
That's probably what I should have did. But.
Yeah, because people, I don't know. It's just like when people at a certain level and they're able to do certain things, they feel like they could just talk to anybody any kind of way because they're in a higher level than that person.
Right.
Instead of picking them up. And that goes back to, us being the color of our skin.
Right.
So why do you feel like people with that color of our skin, we don't stick together, we don't keep that brotherhood?
I mean, it could be for a million of things, but again, it's all about our belief, man. I mean, us colored people has been pushed back. We make the less income. Our family's more divided than any other family. Like I seen a statistic, it says 80 to 70% of white families stay together. Hispanics is about around 60 to 70. Blacks is around 40%. So there's a lot of things that I don't want to get into it, but there's a lot of things against us that put us in that spectrum, but as well as just lack of belief and lack of believing in ourselves, and I think that's what makes us more separated and more divided as a, community, because as the more divided you are, the less you can come together. And I think that's really what it is. But I feel as if at the same time, if we as a people, we believe in ourselves more, not putting more of our emphasis on designer or what we have or how much money we have in the bank, but believing in our family and our friends and making care of the community, I think we'll be in a better position than we are now. But it's just more or less of the lack of belief in ourselves. That's why I see a lot of black guys with jewelry and all these designers and doing things that they shouldn't do to put themselves in places in jail where they shouldn't be, because of the lack of belief and the lack of self-worth in themselves.
So what do you think it's going to take to change that? Because a lot of people feel like because, they got the chains and the level of status that they're untouchable. What do you think going to help us change that? Because that's what the podcast is all about, trying to change.
Right.
So what is, because you know just as well as I do.
Right.
A lot of fathers are in the household.
Right.
So what can we do to change that to make more fathers? Because I see the statistic went out was like it's more fathers taking care of their kids now.
Right.
But how can we make that a whole thing, like a whole, new revelation for us?
I mean, like, as you know, I'm a father myself. I mean, I think the most important thing, honestly, is just to fix our economics too. So us as people, like average black family only have 12 stocks in a whole family, right? Where I had a Caucasian friend that sat down with their family every quarter to discuss on what type of stocks they're going to buy as a family. That's important because at the end of the day, if you don't have any money, most men are stressed because they don't have any money, right? And that trickles down as is a generational curse, right? So we can fix the financial bondage that us black people have. I think that'll change our whole trajectory. So it's more about buying real estate, right? Making sure we understand taxes, making sure we understand about life insurance, making sure we understand about investing. Because once we have those things into place, then that put our family tree at a whole better system, right? So think about it. Let's say we have a grandfather that passed away. He leaves $1 million, right? He leaves $1 million in the trust, right? And now that $1 million, we take 200 of that and we put it into S&P 500. And the S&P 500 is growing at 20%, right? So if we doing that, let's say in 20% in 10, well, let's say 10% in 10 years, that's what, if we take 200, that's what, no, scratch that. But let's say we put $1 million in the S&P 500 and we take the interest. That's going to pay us $100,000 a year. Off the interest, we never take out the $1 million. So imagine we have a fund giving the whole family $100,000 every year, right? What does that put our family? How many people right now currently are making $100,000 without working?
Not
Not a lot.
Not a lot.
So okay, boom. So let's
Very
say
few.
okay. So let's say boom. Now that the grandfather left $1 million and he had 5 kids and everybody getting we splitting 100,000, let's say evenly or whatever throughout the family. But now our kids now have $1 million policy. So now we trickle that down throughout the whole family, right? So and now everybody got stocks, everybody have life insurance, everybody has real estate. Where do you think that put the Black family at now? You think it put it in the lotus on the totem toe? Absolutely not.
Hell no.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that's more. So the most things we need to focus on is building a business, creating wealth within our family. 2, get into understanding about real estate. Real estate has made the most millionaires, right? 3, learn about life insurance, right? And then I think those are the 4 components that people should really, really focus on as far as the Black community to get us not change, not jewelry, not how many girls that we have. You know, those are not things that are going to advance us as a culture, but understanding about personal finance is what's going to get us to where we need to truly be.
All right. Yeah, that's what a lot of people say. But I just wish, me personally, from my personal experience and what I've seen, a lot of people are doing it, but not putting the people on, or they're doing it in a kind of, they're speeding the process up.
Right.
So how do you get people to understand that instead of doing it the wrong way? One thing that I'm a firm believer in: do it right, do it light, do it wrong, do it long.
Yeah.
So why do you think people are skipping processes, and they're not trying to learn about the credit, they're not trying to learn about the real estate, they're not trying to learn about the things that they need to learn about to make their family successful?
Right.
And who would be that person to teach them?
You know, that's the thing too. That's another fight that we're fighting. It's kind of like, you know, you gotta go out there and want it yourself. You know what I'm saying? And you gotta be that family member that go ahead. And that's the same thing I was saying to me. Like, that's why I feel like I'm that person in my family where, hey, listen, I'm telling my cousin, hey, you gotta go buy stocks. Hey, you gotta make sure you have a life insurance policy. Hey, you gotta make sure you making enough income so you can go buy real estate, right? So it's all about that one family in your tree. That, and then as well, reading. Like, they say they'll keep information for Black people in books. They'll just put it in books because people won't read. So if you lacking information and you not knowing, like, if you knew about how important credit was, if you knew how important life insurance was, how could you not have it? Right? So if you don't know the importance of something, then you will never be able to know what it's meant for. Right? Like, Black people, if they understand why life insurance was created, they'll have it. Matter of fact, we was the first people to have life insurance on, because when we were getting traded on the slave trade, the slaves, the owner of the slaves put a life insurance policy on Black people because we were dying when they was buying us coming from Africa. But now Black people don't even have life insurance on themselves, when we were the first commodity to be life insurance, you know? So it's all about being educated, bro, because if somebody else knows something and we don't know it, why aren't we being educated on it if that's what's going to take us to another level?
That's a great question.
Mm-hmm.
I don't got no answers to that right now. I don't know. But that's a good point, because once I started reading a lot, because I read a couple of books myself, I need to start being more focused on reading as well.
Right.
It helped me a lot, especially, you know, with my daily routine, how I think, the way it forms my mind.
Right.
So, like, what type of books you read and what type of books helped you throughout your journey?
That's a great question, man. It's a lot of books, but I'm more focused on finance and self-developing. Like I said, I grew up in a household where my parents come from a third world country, so a lot of their programming was in a third world country programming. So for me, in order for me to be successful to get to where I'm at, I have to reprogram my mind and how I think, because I was raised to think like on a low level, a totem pole, right? I wasn't think successful. I wasn't think to have affirmations. I wasn't think to think as a successful person think. I wasn't taught to think like a business owner. I wasn't taught to think like an investor. I wasn't taught like to think to a person that owns real estate. So those are my books that I read and I focus on. So I focus on buying books of real estate. I focus on buying books for investing. I focus on books of credit, right? One of my favorite books that I read that I've read is called Money Master the Game, right, by Tony Robbins. That's one of my favorite books. My second favorite book is How to Win Friends Influence People, right? Because if I
got that book.
Exactly, right? And there's one more book by Napoleon Hill, How to Think and Grow Rich. I think I got the topic. I got the title right, but that's one of my favorite books. How to think to grow rich, because at the end of the day, like I said, I wasn't raised to think successful. I wasn't raised to think like, hey man, I can do this. And I wasn't given the principles. And when you read certain books like that book right there will take you from zero to $100,000 a year, because it give you the blueprints of how to put your goals and set certain things in aspect where you know, like, hey man, listen, I need to be persistent. I need to write down my goal. I need to write down my goal and put something towards my goal to be able to get to that end goal or wherever I want to go. And again, it's multimillionaires that's created books for you to read. But that's my favorite book. So if I had to give anybody a couple of books to read, is How to Win, Influence People, How to Win Friends and Influence People. That's one of the books. The second book is How to Think and Grow Rich. And then the third book would be Money Master the Game, to understand about investing.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's dig more deep into you.
Okay.
We done talked about business. We done talked about the family. We done talked about finances.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Theo as the person. Udlien Theodore as the person.
Yeah.
So, how is it raising two boys?
It's tough, man. It's tough, not being with their mother is a tough, it's very, very tough. I always tell men, like, it's better to not even have kids at all. And instead of making it in separate households, because it's really, really tricky. You don't really see your kids all the time. But it's a beautiful thing, to have kids, and to now I have something to even fight more for. I have certain things that I can now give off to. So now my hard work, I could be able to see it passed down to them. And that's the most exciting thing ever, because some people work and they don't have kids, they don't have anything to pass it down to, but now I have a legacy now that I can pass down and raise them right, and show them certain things that I've was failed at as a kid, and now I can give them something a little bit different, so but it's a journey that I'm enjoying, and I'm looking to move forward. Again, they're young. My oldest is 5, about to turn 6, so I'm still in this journey, and I'm excited for it. Through the trials and tribulations, it's nothing that God doesn't put on you that you can't handle, as you say. So yeah,
for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So out of both of your children, who has the most of your traits that you see when you be around and interact with them?
Yeah. So I got 2, but the first one, of course, he's 5. The other one is not even a year old yet, so can't really tell that much trait. But the 5-year-old, man, I used to love basketball, man. That was my thing. That's something I always wanted to do growing up. I wanted to go to NBA. And now that he's 5, he's actually training right now, and he's loving it. He's excited. He's motivated. He's freaking competitive. You want to rip your head off when he's there. And that was me, man. I'm very competitive. That's of course that's why I'm in business, because entrepreneur is like a game to me, right? So, yeah, man, I think Kylan has my traits, man, and I think he's gonna be, if he keeps his head motivated and that's what he want to stick to as far as basketball, I think he's gonna be a star. I think we'll see him in TV one day for sure.
I like that.
Yeah.
Hopefully he can be on TV.
For sure.
Cuz need $5 when he make it. You know what I'm saying? So let's get into you. And are you looking to dating, or are you just focusing strictly on the business?
Man, I'm focused on business right now, honestly. But if I find that one that I want to grow our business together and become a power couple like Beyonce and Jay-Z, I'm all for it. You know
why
what
everybody say Beyonce and Jay-Z? Why is that the go-to couple?
They're the billionaires, man. I mean, that's for me. I'm not saying they're perfect or whatever, but that's my goal. I'm an entrepreneur, and they're entrepreneurs. And matter of fact, Beyonce didn't grow. She grossed the most amount of money on tour with this last tour she had, and as you know, Jay-Z is a billionaire, so I mean, what's better than one billionaire too, right? So
for sure that.
Yeah.
So what's your red flags?
Shoot.
That you see in women that you like, yeah, I ain't going for her.
Lack of ambition, lack of motivation, not wanting anything, looking for handouts, and not just wanting to be more than what you are today, not wanting to be better. You know what I mean? I want somebody that wants more out of life, and that's has a motor at the same motor I'm motoring, because I'm always running. And if you somebody that's not always running, then you're gonna slow me down, and I don't want that around me.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give you 3 girls to choose from.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta marry, kill, and love.
All right.
So we're going with Sexy Red,
kill,
It was. You didn't even let me give you.
Go ahead.
Choices.
Go ahead. My fault.
So we got. Now I'm gonna change it because you already had a game plan in your head. I gotta change it now. All right. So let's go with Ice Spice,
Okay.
Sukihana,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to give you somebody that you gotta go with. Cardi B.
Cardi B. All right. What was it? What was the? So you said
Marry, love, and kill.
I would marry Ice Spice because I feel like she's not as crazy as the other ones. I would love Cardi B because even though she's wild, but she's a mother and she take care of home. You know, she's married actually, so she believes in the family setting and all that jazz. And I would just kill Sukani. I don't know what that is, man. That's like red ice. That's like sexy red or whatever her name is. Yeah, yeah. Nah, I wouldn't do anything with that.
Why you gonna kill Suki?
Nah, man.
She got some money.
Yeah, nah. I don't need. I'm not worried about that. She's just disgusting, you know. So it's not only just about the money, but you got to be a woman. You know what I mean? So yeah, I couldn't do anything with that. Yeah, nah, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
All right. So, what's something that you think, you need to work on in yourself? What's like something that you see, a toxic trait or something that you want to see you doing better in the next year?
Just believing, dreaming bigger. If that's what you talk about, if in a relationship, I would just say if I were to get in a relationship, I would just say being more attentive. Cause like I said, I'm always going, and it's kind of like a give and take with a relationship. Cause in a relationship, you gotta be, in tune. Give quality time, stuff like that. So I would just say be more in tune and being willing to sacrifice some time to be able to put into a relationship or to anything that I'm doing. But as well, believing bigger. Like one of the things I love to say on Mondays, think bigger, right? So you always got to want to expand your mind because constant elevation creates expansion.
Ooh, Jim right there.
Yeah.
Y'all write that down. Say that one more time.
Constant elevation creates expansion.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's like, it reminds me of see it, touch it, obtain it.
Absolutely. For sure.
I like that. That's hard. That's a bar right there.
I'm trying to tell you.
You feel me? So let's go back to original topic of discussion. Do you think men are really the problem? And when I say do you think men are really the problem, do you think that they're the problem in a relationship, or why is the relationship? Do you also believe in 50-50?
I mean, it all do. I mean, if you my lady, like you my lady, and we together, nah, I don't believe in 50-50. But if you just, something, then yeah, I because you got to understand everything is an investment, right? And if you know an investment is not a good investment, are you going to give your last to the investment that you know that's not a good investment?
But how you know that's not a good investment? Some investments look just like when you're looking at a stock or when you're looking at a trade. The trade might look good going up.
Right.
It's looking beautiful, like you finna make some big things with it,
right.
And then it just drops.
Right.
So how you know when the drop is finna come? Well, you know the drop off's finna come.
Well, you currently don't know, but everything has ups and downs, right? But you want to focus on getting something that when it goes down, it's not a turbulence down, right? So if I know it's all about risk, right? So if I'm investing into something, I want to make sure that what I'm investing to, I know what I'm investing into. I've done my research. I've done my research where I can see what can go wrong and what can go good. So if I'm in a relationship with somebody, there's certain qualities and certain things that I'm looking for in a relationship that I know is good, right? Where most men, we look for just how she look and how her body looks. Nah, like how do you feel about a family? How do you feel about kids? How do you feel about finances, right? How do you deal with your money? How do you think you should just get your money and blow it? Do you not invest? How do you handle certain things? So I think, can you cook, right? Do you expect me to cook? What do you like to eat, right? So those certain things are you going to ask, right? Like, do you have respect? Do you like to go to church? Do you have trust issues, right? Or do you believe in God? When things are wrong, how do you react? So there's certain things that I have a list of what I want out of a woman, right? And if she doesn't meet those
Does she have to meet everything on the list though?
She kind of has to, but I wouldn't
Why?
say I wouldn't say everything, right? Because here's the thing, I'm investing into you. Because if I invest, for example, with my money, I try to make sure everything that I'm doing, I know what I'm doing, right? So with my woman, if you don't want to believe in 50-50 and I got to invest into you, I'm investing my last dollar into you, right? So if that's what I'm doing, then I got to make sure that you hitting all aspects. If not, I'll just stay single. Because what's the point of me putting all my sweat and equity in you and it goes bad? That's a bad investment. Yeah.
So when does that conversation start? That starts the first date, first week. When do you have those conversations with it?
Oh, I'm very direct on that one. We start right away. Because I believe if
So that's the first date.
Yeah, first day. I'm diving right in head first. You know.
Why the first date? What if y'all is it the first day of the first date or the
I
beginning
mean,
of
because we begin, because I believe in being transparent, right? Because if I'm transparent from the beginning, then there's no gray areas. I believe in black and white, and once there's gray,
for sure.
if we want to dance in gray, we can dance in gray. But I don't want to dance in gray. I want to dance in black and white. That's really how I am. Yeah.
So, what's the craziest thing a girl said to you when you put those ultimatums on the table? What's something that she said?
I can't remember, but I've told girls like I do a prenup, and some agree, some don't.
Why you doing a prenup for? Because you protect the investment.
Protect my investment, yeah. Because if you came in with nothing, I came with something. You're not gonna take what I came in with, right?
I like that. That's hard.
For sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's smart though. Cause nowadays I see guys giving up the house.
Yeah.
Even in a situation I know, I ain't gonna say no names, but person I know had to give up everything for a woman.
For a woman, right.
So why do you think women tend to take everything?
Well, because women are not built like men. So if men are go-getters, we're motivated, we're ambitious, women are not like nurtured to be that way. So that's why when it's time to get a divorce and stuff like that, it normally goes to the woman more than the men, because men are the provider, they're the protector. So that's really why they do that. But I don't truly believe in all that. But that's why it's important to marry the right person, so you don't have to go through all that. You know what I mean? That's why it's important you marry somebody that's motivated, ambitious, ain't worried about what you got going on, because they got their own thing going on as well. Yeah.
So how you feel about the city girl era? Like girls that's trying to get the money and F the boy, and how you feel about that?
I mean, I don't agree with it, but I do feel like women should get their money, get their bag, but I don't agree with the whole F the boys and all that jazz, because you need men, right? Like, two heads are better than one. You know what I mean?
Why you think the female needs a male?
Because two heads are better than one, and God didn't create women to be alone. That's why he created both, a sex and a female and a male, right? So two heads are better than one. When somebody's equally yoked, it's powerful, man. Like if I gave you, it's like, think about this, right? Like you play football. Would you rather just Marshawn Lynch, or would you rather Marshawn Lynch and Tom Brady?
I want Marshawn Lynch and Tom Brady.
Okay, so you rather have two heads better than one. So if you just only have Marshawn Lynch, then yeah, you got Marshawn Lynch, but there's still liabilities that you don't see. But if I have a star quarterback and a star running back, you're unbeatable. You can face the world, right? That's why I said I want Beyonce and Jay-Z. They can never go broke. And Jay-Z.
Is it all about the money?
It ain't all about the money, but money's up there with air.
Ooh, that's another bar now.
It is. Think about it. Because right now, if somebody's dying with cancer, and the cancer, they say they need $200,000. If you ain't got it, that means what?
They dead.
You dead. But if you got it, then is it an issue?
Nah.
It ain't that people have money.
So you think if money was an issue in a lot of relationships, the relationships will last?
Absolutely. What are people arguing about right now on Facebook?
Money.
Who gonna go 50-50? Who gonna do this? Who gonna do that? So if money was an issue, what the heck were we talking about? We're gonna talk about the real important things. But again, people gotta fix the money part first, because one thing I've taught: no finance, no romance.
Ooh.
That's really what it is, bro. You know what I'm saying? No money, no honey. So if you ain't got no money, you shouldn't be dating. I personally think that. Now, you could find somebody broke and y'all build together and y'all build it up, but I don't think that's an exception. You don't want to be an exception. You want to be like an average, right? So average, I think men should have their stuff together before they, go ahead and look for a woman. I think that's really what it is. So
Yeah, that's some gems right there for y'all,
Yeah,
bro.
for sure.
So, what's something you want to tell your past self and what you want to tell your future self?
One thing I would tell my past self is to never let anybody put fear and doubt on your dreams and goals. And I think that's very important because sometimes, as like you were saying earlier, like, man, I have these goals and dreams and people are negative, stuff like that. Sometimes that can derail us from where we truly wanted to go. But that's one thing I'll tell to my past self and my future self. I'll tell him to keep dreaming big and let's shoot for the stars. That's what I tell my future self.
All right, man. Anything you want to get the fellas out there? Because the ladies really came hard.
Yeah.
I got to get it, bro. Shout out to the ladies, bro. I ain't going to name no names. But the ladies really put it on for the ladies. They really stuck together. So anything you want to say out there to the ladies or you want to say to the fellas, what you want to say to them? Because this ain't going to be the last time we see you.
Yeah, for sure.
Because if all goes well, we might be doing a group session and they're going to watch your video and they're going to come back for you.
For sure.
For all the things you said. So
Right.
what's something you want to tell the people out there before we get out of here?
Man, the thing I say is, man, chase your dreams, invest, get your bag right, man. I think that's the most important thing is get your money right. Because once you get your money right, everything else will fall into place. And get your life right with God. I think those are the two things. Get your money right and your God right. You unstoppable. That's what I'll say.
That's it? That's all?
That's it, and that's all. You got to keep it simple, baby.
Okay, I like that. Well, shout out your Instagram. Tell them about your businesses. Give yourself a good look, man, because
Yeah.
a lot of people going to be tuning in for this.
My Instagram is Udlien, so that's UDLIEN.Theodore. That's my Instagram, and I currently I've been doing taxes for a couple of years now, longer than I care to admit. So go follow me on Instagram. So if you need any help with your taxes or anything dealing with financials, life insurance, whatever, I got you. So follow me. You're gonna get the content. I'm gonna give you more content so you guys can get all that you need. All right. So if you need your taxes done, tap in with me. I'll get you right.
All right, man. Y'all like, comment, subscribe on this video. And we out, man. Peace.
Let's go.
Yo, it's your boy Nate, man. The hottest podcast out right now. What Will I Think of Podcast. Man, y'all need to go like, comment, subscribe for real, man. This podcast going up. We got bangers on the way. A lot of bangers, man. Y'all go view them last 2 episodes, man. If y'all really vibe with me. And we out.